I'm Shauna from Island Skin Solutions. If you're looking for an alternative to waxing and shaving, we have a solution for you. Our laser hair removal offers long-lasting, safe, and effective results. This month, we're offering 15% off of our laser hair removal packages, which are already buy 3, get 1 free. If you're interested in laser hair removal, contact us to set up your consultation today.
Got Medicaid? Paradise Dental's got you covered. We've got you covered from the moment you walk in the door with some of Saipan's best smiles. Medicaid covers your fillings, your extractions, and your checkups with no out-of-pocket expense. And Medicaid covers all of your x-rays without any additional cost to you. So remember, if you've got Medicaid, you're covered. Don't wait for a toothache. Call Paradise Dental today. Come here often.
Hi, I'm Shauna Brenfleck, nurse practitioner and owner of Island Skin Solutions and Wellness Clinic. We are Saipan's only medical spa offering a wide range of services to meet your unique skincare goals. We offer exclusive medical-grade skincare products that can only be purchased from a licensed medical professional. We also have the CNMI's only master esthetician, who offers new patient consultations that include a mini facial tailored to your needs. Schedule your consultation today to get started on your skincare journey.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. In Texas, hope of finding survivors from the catastrophic July 4th flooding is increasingly bleak. With the death toll at more than 100 people, 4 days have now passed since anyone has been found alive in Kerr County. Jennifer King has more on the response.
Searchers comb piles of tangled tree limbs, mattresses, refrigerators, and mud, looking for victims of Friday's flash flooding in the Texas Hill Country. The disaster brought out hundreds of volunteers, like Jesus Gomez, a firefighter from Mexico who's been using his swiftwater search and rescue skills to help reach inaccessible piles in the middle of the river.
It's hard, but first responders, we're a different breed pretty much.
Jason Sabala is a volunteer with Project Grit, who's helping clear debris in Center Point.
I mean, it brought me to tears many times just thinking about, as a father, them being, they're helpless. And so it's that was a big thing for me.
Takes us far to get a fire going.
At a park in Houston, people gathered to sing hymns in a memorial for Camp Mystic, the summer camp where over 24 girls and counselors died. Audio from Houston, courtesy KTRK. I'm Jennifer King.
President Trump's again voicing his displeasure with Vladimir Putin. At a cabinet meeting, Trump said Russia's war in Ukraine is killing a lot of people on both sides, and of his phone conversations with the Russian leader.
He's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless.
The Israeli military says 5 soldiers have been killed in an attack in northern Gaza. Meanwhile, health officials in the Palestinian territory say Israeli strikes killed 51 people. The bloodshed came with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu due to visit the White House again this afternoon for talks with President Trump about a ceasefire plan. On Wall Street, stocks ended mixed a day after a broad sell-off in response to President Trump's latest tariffs. The S&P slipped 0.1%. The Dow fell 165 points or 0.4%, while the Nasdaq finished a fraction higher. This is AP News. There may be some welcome news coming for air travelers. Julie Walker has the story.
For the first time in almost 20 years, air travelers may no longer have to take their shoes off during security screenings at certain U.S. airports. The TSA is looking to abandon the requirement, according to reports. If implemented, it would put an end to a security screening mandate put in place almost 20 years ago, several years after shoe bomber Richard Reed's attempt to take down a flight from Paris to Miami in late 2001. Traveler newsletter Gate Access was first to report that the security screening change is coming. Some air travelers are able to skirt extra security requirements like taking off their shoes if they're part of a TSA pre-check paid program. I'm Julie Walker.
There's more news available at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
PHI is your local pharmacy serving customers in Cagman, Garapan, and Dandan since 1996. Shop PHI Pharmacy for all your prescriptions, and we even offer a large line of multivitamin supplements. Our Dandan location is open weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 4 on weekends. Or visit our Garapan and Cagman locations weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 1 on Saturdays. Check us out online at phipharmacy.com or follow us on Facebook. PHI is a locally owned independent community Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care. If you see something, say something, and stay anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 234-7272 or submit a tip online at nmicrimestoppers.com. No names, no caller ID, no recordings, just your info. And if your tip leads to an arrest, you could earn up to $1,000 in cash. Your tips have helped take hundreds of criminals off the streets in the NMI. It works because of you. Crime Stoppers, we want your information, not your name.
It's a brand new day in the Marianas. Coffee's hot and we're full of promise. Sip on the genie and feel the glow. We've got the stories you wanna know.
Good morning, Marianas. Holy cow, it is 7:14 in the morning, and it is going to be a wild one. We are only on YouTube today, and well, we can tell you all about why. It's all technical stuff. I can't figure it out in time. And, you know, the best part is we got, like, the coolest guest in studio, and we have the technical difficulties at the same time. So it's a perfect storm, and it's raining outside, but it could be worse. I could be sitting here by myself with technical difficulties without having any cool guests. But today, we have the man, the myth, the legend, the guy who started this whole revolution right there, Troy Torres from Candid News. Troy,
good morning, Marianas.
It is so great.
Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it. This is a wonderful studio.
Oh, well, thanks. It's a team effort over here. You know, we it's cold in here though too. You want me to turn that aircon down?
No, I'm fat, so it's not cold to me. Don't worry about it.
This guy, you know, you try to rely on him for the truth, and then he's out here like with the friggin' gun show, like, oh, I'm fat. I'm like, you know, this is BS, man. This is crap, you know. Troy Torres, welcome. Great to see you.
Cheers,
man.
my friend. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. This is awesome.
Yeah,
I'm excited about it. And we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff today in this short amount of time that he's already late for the other stuff that he's going to do because we're trying to get through all this stuff.
So this is my first vacation in 9 years. Yeah, and I did, and the decision was Saipan. I would have included Rhoda in this. It's my favorite place in the world. It's closest to Guam too. But you know, flights being what they are, and we just have a few days to do this, and so. You know, but I love Saipan. I have not had a vacation here since 2016. Yeah, and I haven't had a vacation at all since 2016.
Gosh.
Yeah. Life got in the way.
Life and starting a whole new venture, going through like a big transformation personally, professionally. And man, you're the king of the world right now when it comes to this stuff.
No. You know, the exact opposite, right? So it's a part of that journey was my Christian journey over the past few years, and I went from thinking I was king of the world to desiring and wanting to be a lowly servant, and so it doesn't work out all the time. I'm a very vain and prideful person, but I'm small steps in this Christian journey, and hopefully by the end of my life, I will totally be like ready
Well, you're killing it. I mean, I love doing it. The whole thing is, the reason why there's a couple of groups like My News Service is a thing, and Marianas Press.
Oh, I love both of you guys.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm sure we love you too.
Oh, thanks.
But I can't speak for them, but I'm sure they do. But you're really the trailblazer for all this other stuff, like having digital media as the thing, an alternative, not the traditional TV news. And in Guam, something you have that we don't, like that news radio, that talk radio we don't have. And then also newspaper and TV, right? I mean, like, so you did something totally different. And you brought a different level of investigative journalism to all of it. And now you got a bunch of people who want to be, they're little Troys. They're Troys in training.
No, it was an accident. How you said blaze the trail, right? That wasn't the intention. The intention in the very beginning, I say this all the time on Candid. Actually, I haven't really talked about my past too much lately, but when I was talking about it was that it was a complete accident, and that Candid was born out of revenge. And it just changed into something else. Life is weird, right? Mm-hmm. These different changes, or these turns that life takes you in. Weird.
But people wanted it, and they created a pipeline, a digital infrastructure to get stuff to you, because enough people were unhappy enough. They didn't see the coverage that they wanted, and they finally saw someone that was willing to go out there and say, maybe that's what it takes. Maybe it's like, F this, and maybe that's where the press really came from initially. But you started doing it, and next thing you know, people got emboldened. It made a big difference here because people started to speak up here, and who normally wouldn't.
True story. The change in Candid from personal platform of revenge to actual investigative journalism came from Saipan. Okay. It was, and I have her permission to talk about this. I must have been October. I think it was right after the raids, the Torres raids.
Oh, I hadn't heard about it.
So that must have been October or November of 2019. Would that be correct? Yeah, it was definitely 2019. It was definitely October or November. I get this Facebook message on my personal Facebook page, which I rarely check. So I just, by the grace of God, I decided to check this message. Someone wants to send you a message. Someone named Selena Babalta. Oh. I was like, okay, what does this Selena Babalta want? So she says, would you like to start covering stories about our governor in Saipan? And it was because we had done a couple of stories about the raids. So it must have been after the raids. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We just, because everybody was talking about the raids, so we were like, oh, let's talk about the raids. Let's do a couple stories on it. So I guess she saw our coverage on that, and she saw our coverage from before that, and she thought, she told me that, she didn't know who would take these documents that she had and who would actually do something with it, because the governor here was very strong. He was very influential. There are things that he would do that, whatever, right? So she says, would you consider, and I was like, well, send me the documents. She goes, I'll send you a couple of pages, and you'll see, because I have thousands of pages. She sent me the first 2 pages, and they were receipts. They were receipts and that were all sort of together. Mm-hmm. And then I forget what that document was called, but some type of voucher coming from the government. And I was looking at the items on the receipts, and then I matched it up against the itemized journal voucher, whatever that thing is called.
Is it PO?
A PO.
Purchase order?
It was a purchase order, that's right. I matched it up against the purchase order, and I was like, the government paid for this? And I said, can you send me the rest of these documents? And that's when we started doing the written stories. And I didn't think, because I'm from Guam, I wasn't trying to overstep anything, but Selena said that that the news organizations at the time here back in 2019 she believed they would not cover these stories. And I was like, why wouldn't they cover these stories? This is hard news. This is your governor there's evidence that your governor has been fleecing the public. How is that not news? I don't understand. And she said, just trust me. And so we started reporting it, and it gained overnight, we became, at least to the people of the CNMI, many of the people of the CNMI, a legitimate news organization, because they were hard news. It was hard news, right? And I did the video editorial stuff, which is, and I always laugh at people who criticize like the New York Times or BBC or these news outlets, or even Fox News. People who criticize Fox News, and they say, that these news organizations shouldn't have an opinion. And I'm like, what do you think news is? On top of the fact that reporters have their own personal opinions, every legitimate news organization has editorial content. Opinion is a big part of free speech and free press. You cannot divorce one from the other, but as long as the news stories are objective, right? And so anyway, I'm going into tangents here, but that's how the transformation started. And it was because a source, and she wasn't a member of the legislature at the time or anything, she was a private citizen who had gathered this information, gave it to us, and we did our research and we ran with it. And we were unafraid of whatever the consequences were. I remember that a private investigator from Saipan was sent to spy on us.
Really?
Yeah, within a couple months. Oh, we even had people even reached out from the then governor's camp to essentially pay us off. We were offered, we'll pay you a certain amount of money per month.
Wow.
Yeah, and we were very poor at the time, and I said no, that I don't care about money.
Holy crap, that's wild.
I think it was $20,000 a month is what we were offered.
Really?
Yeah, that's how much money was flowing around here in the underbelly of corruption. If you were willing to pay, just this startup news organization, not even in Saipan but in Guam, $20,000 a month to shut up. Imagine how much money had been flowing around illegally, illegitimately, laundered.
Well, and maybe that's why that kind of coverage wasn't happening over here as well. But I can't say anything about why, and I wouldn't make any accusations. But I would say that I thought, even when Tomas was with KUAM, right, and when you were doing it from over there, you guys had this degree of separation where your livelihood wasn't attached to your ability to report, right? So, you wouldn't be losing potential advertising contracts if you started reporting on our governor, right? And things of that kind of that.
Our advertisers have been wonderful. One of them in particular, SPPC, which runs 76 Circle K stores, they were with us even before the Saipan coverage.
Wow, yeah.
And while we were heavily criticizing Governor Lulian Guro and her handling of the dengue outbreak in Guam, they signed up with us. All these years they stayed with us. Our news content they've never commented on and to the credit of all of our advertisers, they have never asked us to do any sort of news. They've never asked us to stay away from any news. They have never said, hey, can you stop with this because we're getting calls? And they get calls.
Really?
People call them and they tell me, they call me up and they laugh about it. Like, oh, our boss got this call and from this senator or from this person threatening that they're going to stop,
gassing,
et cetera. Yeah. And there are different advertisers, right? And our boss is just laughing with us. So, people who think that they can take down media organizations by either boycotting the advertisers or calling up the advertisers to say, I don't like what this, when an advertiser makes a decision to advertise with a news organization, they know what they're getting themselves into. What they care about is the coverage, the fact that they're getting their message out. And so to those who would try to take down the media by boycotting their advertisers, I just want you to know that those advertisers are laughing at you behind your back because they think you're stupid.
I love it, man. I'm telling you. By the way, I just want to jump in and say, like,
Sure.
there's all these folks who are saying stuff. Tobot is hilarious.
Hi, my brother.
Great there. Great to see you. Eric Mopna is saying hi to you this morning.
Hi.
Tobot saying, Buenas, brother Troy. Eric
Buenas.
saying, welcome to Saipan, Troy.
Thank you.
And Atau out there saying, hi, Troy,
Hi.
with a million eyes. And all kinds of folks just jumping up there and talking
you so
about
much.
the great weather that we've gotten.
I love this weather. I love it. Yeah.
When I was running, this used to be the weather I would love. I'd grab my my visor just to keep the water out of my eyes, and I would just run because I didn't have to worry about overheating or anything, and it would be awesome. That has been a while, but anyway, it's not too bad. So I know you got a paddle boat to get to your car later, but let's get. I want to get into some of the cool stuff. You're like, oh, we can talk about anything. I'm like, all right. So I wanted to. I messaged you last week to say, dude, you want to come on the show to talk about and tell people what is this stuff that's going on, this big story that's happening right now. You got the lieutenant governor's family in it. I'm not following it all the way, but it's apparently it's not just the family member, but it's other folks who are involved.
So we're talking about the Lieutenant Governor of Guam, Josh Tenorio, and more than half of his nuclear family has been indicted by the U.S. Attorney for Guam and the CNMI. Matter of fact, the prosecutor in the case is from Saipan, Ben Petersburg.
Yes.
Yeah.
He was our goalie when we won the championship in one of these tournaments here in Saipan. We call him MV Petersburg.
I'm not sure if this is his first white collar crime case. I know that he has been prosecuting drug cases in Guam. I believe this is his first white collar one.
Wow.
Yeah. And this is if the allegations are correct, this would be the largest political corruption case in Guam history.
Wow.
It surpasses the amount and the breadth of conspiracy of the Governor Ricky Bordalio case back in 1986. It surpasses the corruption cases brought against members of the Guterres administration back in the 1990s, early 2000s. So the allegations by the federal government are that 7 people, the lieutenant governor's sister, Charissa Tenorio, her boyfriend, Frankie Rosalind, the lieutenant governor's boyfriend, Matthew Tapasya, Frankie Rosalind's mother, Tina Sanchez, the mother's sister, Winnie Santos, the former PUA program manager, Kathleen Pareto, who is now the quartermaster for the Department of Military Affairs over there. Quartermaster meaning the person who handles the money.
Supplier, yeah, wow.
And the resources and the HR. And the last one is the former PUA office assistant to the manager, Marlene Pinola. All 7 of them indicted in an alleged conspiracy to defraud the federal government through the PUA program. Different charges and counts for all of them. The highest belonging to Charissa Tenorio, who allegedly is the head of the conspiracy, facing 560 years in federal prison, according to the counts.
Wow.
When you do the max, right? And if it was what do you call that, consecutively? If she was convicted at trial, if she received the max, and if it was to be served consecutively, 560 years in prison. The charges include conspiracy to commit wire fraud, conspiracy to commit money laundering, federal program theft. Then there's federal program theft, wire fraud, money laundering, mail fraud, and then Charissa Tenorio and Tina Sanchez additionally accused of witness tampering. Charissa gets 2 of those counts, allegedly. So what the feds are saying happened is that when around the time that people in Guam were allowed to start to apply for pandemic unemployment assistance, and I don't know if it was the same here, but in the good morning. Hi.
Come on in.
Good morning. Hi.
Hello. Hey.
In the in Guam, our program did not get a start right away, and so when people started to apply, they were able to apply retroactively to the start of the program. So the checks were like $20,000, $25,000, depending on whatever, right? That was the first check. And then the checks after that was the 340 plus the FPUC or whatever that was called, with like $1,000 or something per week.
Wow.
Or per every 2 weeks or something like that. And so there was a big initial check, right? And so at the beginning, the conspiracy, according to the feds, is that from that time until a certain time, until the end of the program, basically, Charissa Tenorio and others had conspired to use the PUA program office, use Kathleen Pareto and Marlene Pinalla to enter into the system false claims. And many of the people, according to the feds and according to our sources, from the beginning of this, from the time of the raids in August of 2024 through to the indictments, including two of the witnesses have told us that they included poor people who didn't have jobs. So they didn't have jobs before the pandemic. They didn't have so they weren't qualified for PUA. And even homeless people were receiving these PUA payments. And so, if the story stopped there, it would be, okay, Charissa Tenorio helped
people who needed
the poor people, right? Like maybe they didn't qualify, but she helped. She used her position to basically a Robin Hood story, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's not where the story ends. According to the federal government and to the witnesses, according to the indictment itself and also to the witnesses, what Charissa and others were doing allegedly was, because a lot of these people didn't have IDs, they didn't have bank accounts. And you needed to deposit the money into bank accounts. And even if you were given a check, right, even if it wasn't direct deposit, if you were given a check, you would have to somehow cash it. So the conspiracy was that some of these people, including Charissa Tenorio, would bring these poor people to the bank, including the homeless people, have them cash the checks in the accounts of somebody else. So, and by the way, there's also, according to the witnesses, co-conspirators, and in the indictment it says there are unnamed co-conspirators, and there's a belief that there will be superseding indictments. Unnamed co-conspirators, it is our belief, and the witnesses have said this, that there are going to be people in the banks who were part of the conspiracy and who will be indicted. 2 banks in Guam. And so, I know, right? The breadth of this thing is just, so bring them to the banks, the checks would be cashed. Allegedly, Charissa Tenorio would take all but $100 from some of these people, give these poor people $100, take the rest of it. And so, crazy, right? I mean, if it's true, incredible.
Yeah, I mean, like, the amount of work you'd have to do to make that happen is crazy. Yeah. So the first thing is, I hope it's not true, of course. But if it is, holy crap. I mean, like, holy cow, the amount of work that you'd have to do all that stuff. It's funny. One of my friends is, over the years, you get to meet a bunch of different folks here. And one of these FBI guys who was here before, we were talking about, like, how you get criminals and all this other stuff. He's like, all right, well, here's a scenario. How do you think you would do a bank? And I think he had this answer preloaded in the chamber, ready to go. He's like, well, let's see, I would call, so he's like, nope, you're done. Like, because somebody's going to rat you out or something's going to happen. So for something like this is a big thing. Like, it involves all these other people. And that, to me, is the hardest part about this, that it can be so interwoven, like with the banks. And then you got to get them IDs and all that stuff. Who's taking them around? There's got to be a ton of evidence of, like, probably video of taking people being picked up and dropped off.
There's a ton of evidence. It's our understanding. We do know for a fact that there was, on August 19 last year, raids. And, you can't have a raid unless you have a warrant. And you can't have a warrant unless a judge believes that there's probable cause that a crime took place, and that whatever you're going to get at these raids is going to produce some sort of more evidence in the furtherance of the investigation, right? And so on August 19, there were raids into Charissa Tenorio's businesses. I believe her house. I can't remember right now. And There were seizures of bank records. There were seizures of records from the Guam Department of Labor. We were told, and I don't know why and how this relates to this case, but also records taken from the Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center. Because the Hua fraud is just, we're told, the tip of the iceberg.
Really?
There's more than, yes. When you consider that this is the only sibling of the lieutenant governor, that the lieutenant governor in Guam has, for the past 6 years, had an enormous amount of control over, especially hiring within the government of Guam. When you consider the sort of control that Teresa Tenorio allegedly had over certain segments of the government, it wouldn't come as a surprise that the feds would be looking at many other things in the government of Guam.
Wow, man, I just, this thing is just wild. Tobat said, a food truck driver that never really existed.
Yes,
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tobat, for reminding me about that. So this conspiracy ran through two main companies, allegedly. A company called Comfort Cuts, which is a lawn service and maintenance company or business that is under the name of Frankie Rosalind, but is operated and allegedly controlled by Teresa Tenorio. They've received a whole bunch of government contracts, which is the suspicion as to why it's under Frankie Rosalind and not Teresa Tenorio. And another company or another business called Hot Dog & Co. Hot spelled Haute, you know, like the hot couture or whatever.
Yep.
Hot Dog & Co. And that business is owned by Matthew Tapasian. No one remembers this business operating as a legitimate hot dog stand, though there was a hot dog stand. No one remembers it operating for longer than several weeks. It was allegedly operating during the pandemic, during the lockdowns in Guam. And according to the feds, several people were employed at this hot dog stand. I mean, a hot dog stand, it's just the owner. Any hot dog stand that you see, it's just the owner of the hot dog stand who is operating the hot dog stand, right? Maybe the wife or the husband is helping out.
Maybe this is the biggest hot dog stand in the history
You know what?
of Guam.
Yeah, it's the biggest but selling all the greatest hot dogs that there ever has been sold in Guam. Working 27 hours a day, 9 days a week, right? And so, according to one of the witnesses who we interviewed and modulated their voices for fear of retribution, this is a real thing in Guam, retribution.
Oh, we know.
Yeah, and you know, people here tell me all the time, like, you know, the corruption here is so bad, and I say to them, if you think it's bad here in Saipan, you ain't seen nothing, because in Guam it's even worse. And they're like, how come we don't hear about it? And I'm like, we've learned in Guam, our corrupt people in Guam have learned how to veil their corruption just a little bit. So it's under the surface, but it's there and it's massive. And so one of the witnesses told us that more than 100 people were used as employees of this hot dog stand.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Like, that's, I can't wait. Now I gotta follow this story. Like, I gotta see how all this stuff shakes out. And it sucks. When I saw that the lieutenant governor was, as he's not named in it, right?
He's not. And he asserted that he is not under federal investigation, which is a bold-faced lie. You cannot make that assertion unless you have a written document from the U.S. Attorney's Office and from the FBI separately that says that he is not under how does he know he's not under investigation? That's a crazy assertion to make.
It is there have been an awful lot of stories about the lieutenant governor coming out of the press conference, or sorry, the press office over there for the gov in the last 2 weeks.
He's never done so much work in his life, huh? He's opening the Agania pool.
I do have to say, he did help me out getting the support of the team when we went to cover the Little League. He at least he helped us out, get the team down from Sports and Parks and Rec and the sports guys. They were a great help.
This is what the politicians in Guam do, though. This is exactly how they breed that corruption. They do these favors for people, and then they collect as though their coordination of the use of public resources, not their personal resources,
stuff, yeah,
somehow entitles them to a favor back from the people who they helped when they didn't do jack. They just happened to be in a position to move public resources. And that's how they convince people all the time that, and it's how the corruption just, and believe me, the politicians in Guam, both Democrat and Republican, they just got this game to a T, you know?
I think it's, I wonder if it's like, I don't think it's just Guam, but I wonder if it's just like that small town kind of stuff. Like, I mean,
but we take it to a new level. But it is that small town.
So, because like we're a smaller small town, Tinian and Rhoda are smaller small towns and all that stuff. And when we look at you guys, you're like the big city and all that stuff, right? You guys, and what a melting pot with everybody there. You've got so many different influences than we have. I mean, we have a lot of different folks from a lot of different countries, but you add this other thing in there with the military and the federal funds that pour in over there. So it masks a lot of that stuff.
You're talking about the ugly.
Yeah.
Because there's good stuff going on and because of the broader economy, right? Here's an example. I don't have permission to say who, but I was having a conversation with someone yesterday who was asking us, do we have a reciprocity agreement, or not a reciprocity agreement, for instance, or the point was that in the CNMI, your legislature recently passed a law that allows you to get foreign doctors to practice in the CNMI. And so this person asked, do you guys have that in Guam? I was like, we will never have that in Guam, because the doctors will never allow the legislature to chip away at their profits. And they will talk about it, to the hilt, that it has everything to do with the quality of medical service. And maybe to an extent that's true, but that ain't the motive for them,
Man, and the other one is Travis Jones says, I can do last shot dogs. I love that.
I love Travis.
He's great.
I tried to go to Last Shot. I think it was Sunday night, and they weren't open on Sunday night.
No, I think Sundays and Mondays, they're closed.
Okay. Got it.
By the way, I know that you probably don't need this when you go there, but here you go. Here's a free bucket of beverages for a Last Shot bar. There you go, Travis. You got Last Shot folks coming over there now.
Right on. Thank you.
So you were just talking about the doctors never going to happen with that international doctors thing. In a nutshell, what the hell is going on with this whole hospital thing over there in Guam too? Like,
which one? Which hospital?
Yeah. Well, so I know, like, I'm talking about like the construction of the new one. It's the Guam Memorial, right?
So this Josh Tenorio thing has the potential to do some real bad service to the people of Guam. And what I'm talking about is if he doesn't make the right decisions, if he doesn't lose his selfishness, if he will at least give Governor Lulian Guerrero the courtesy of resigning from office to free her from the political shackles he has placed her in through this scandal. She has lost so much political capital, I'm afraid that she won't be able to push forward the new hospital development. Because there are certain things where you need the legislature to approve. I believe she already has the financing approved through them, but there are certain other things where approval will be needed. And I'm just hoping that what the Lieutenant Governor's family, or these troubles have done, has not derailed that project too much.
Well, it seems like it's one that has been going back. Oh, Travis said, by the way, outstanding. He'll be there having drinks tonight over at Last Shot. The whole thing, even getting the new hospital, the need's been identified that we need a new hospital in Guam. So then it was all about where, and then preference because it was landowners or something like that. It was going to benefit somebody.
It was.
This is, by the way, this is me looking at it from here.
Yeah.
without being all vested into everything.
Didn't you think it was a little silly how long the location debate took?
It was massive. Yeah, it was such a big deal. I mean, it seems like it's a really big need for Guam that the location wouldn't be the big deal.
Yeah, it was. That was ridiculous. How long? I think it was 2 or 3 years it took to finally hammer out the location. And both sides, right? Both the legislature and the governor. The legislature at the time, it was a Democrat majority at the time, versus the Democrat governor on this whole location issue. They finally hammered it out. It's going to be on Route 15, Manilao. But just the amount of time that it took was ridiculous. Why does a debate on a location of a hospital take that long?
It was crazy how long it was. But anyway.
Everyone was a geologist. Everyone was a land expert. Everyone was a utilities laying expert. Everyone was an engineer, and no one was any of those things.
Well, we were going to try to start this thing way earlier, and so that we could be wrapped, and it was going to be awesome. And then I had some technical difficulties when we updated our software this morning. I should have known. I should have just waited and done it like this afternoon or something. So we're already way late for what you got.
8 p.m. or your 8 a.m.
Yeah, our next folks are here, but also like you've been so gracious sticking around. You were hoping to get out of here like a million years ago to this morning. So I want to say thanks.
No, thank you.
And I'd love to have you in again. Hopefully, I'll have this whole bug worked out by then.
Yeah, no problem.
But man, because there's other stuff. I'll just throw this one out. This is like the closer, but like the one of your news outlets seems to be really focused on somebody's driving.
You're talking about Mike Nicholas?
Yes, I can't believe that. Like they even had like a camera crew that was there to get him like when he was going to the courthouse. I'm like this to me, it seems like overblown stuff.
Well, let me disclose that Mike Nicholas is my personal friend. Right, number one. I need to disclose that right off the bat, so you don't understand what my biases are, and my ability to be objective in discussing that. But secondly, drinking and driving is wrong. There's no other way to cut that. I don't know if he was drinking and driving. I actually haven't even spoken with him. I've been on vacation. My phone's been blowing up. I'm like, nope, I'm on vacation. But drinking and driving is wrong. Third, Candid never covers DUIs. There was another, so to speak, politician. His name is Chirag Bhojwani. At the time, he was the executive director of the Democratic Party of Guam. No friend of mine or anything. Everyone thought that when he got his DUI that we were going to cover it. And I just thought, why? This is not newsworthy. There are kids getting raped. There are people, swindling the government out of millions of dollars in contracts that are shady. I mean, there's just, in the economy of news, this doesn't make the cut.
And they dug deeper, like in their stories about it. They're like, oh, he's contracted as a consultant for these other guys, and they don't have it. They haven't gotten back to us for a comment about this. I'm like, why would you go to somebody who's like a contractor, essentially, right? Or like an employee who's hired him as something over this kind of a traffic offense? It just seems over the top ridiculous. And I don't know him. I've never met him.
If he was the present congressman, or if he was an elected official or a cabinet official, yeah, it would be newsworthy that a high-ranking member of the government was drinking and driving, because whatever. But he's not. He's a retired member of Congress. And then that whole thing about the contracts. Yeah, so the contracts, that's news on its own. It doesn't need to be connected to the DUI. What is the nexus there? I don't understand.
That's the reason why they brought it up. Like it's put in there as that part of the story.
But the reporting about, that a former congressman is or anyone is receiving this amount of money to do what, that's news. The people should be able to scrutinize that or whatever, right? But I don't know what the nexus is between the two issues, because there is none.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you on that. And I'm with you on that coverage part too for DUIs. It's just not something I do. All right, I'm going to let you go.
But can we also say that, and not to excuse it, but many of us, I'm not, I'm such a boring person these days. I used to do all the illegal stuff. But So many people drink and drive.
Mm-hmm.
And 99% of everyone who does is lucky that they don't hurt themselves or other people. So when I see all these comments of people, I'm like, you need to shut up because you were just drunk last night and you were driving.
You're absolutely right, and it's I see the same thing when I used to live in the mainland and go to a football game. I'm like, there's 80,000 people leaving the football game. Probably 70,000 of them should not be behind the wheel of a car who are leaving, and the police officers who are there directing traffic, they know what's going on. Everybody know what's going on that. So it's like, again, not an excuse for it, but it's like all of a sudden it's like now we're going to talk about it and make it the biggest thing ever. And just this one particular case because this guy had a job that everybody knew. So anyway. Yeah.
And people are like, where's Candid? Where's Troy? On vacation, everyone.
Yeah. He's here.
I'm here.
And he brought his OBS problems with to my computer.
Sorry.
I don't know how it happened.
Thank you so much, Brad.
No, thank you, man. It was great to have you in here. Hope to do it again. And that's it. I'm going to run to some commercials real quick. Everybody, this is Troy Torres, the man, the myth, the legend. He's the one who started the whole digital media thing out here in the Marianas, and we were lucky enough to have him in studio today.
God bless you all.
We're going to take a real quick break, and we come back. We got some even cooler guests. Well, not cooler than you, Troy, but they're
super cool.
At least it's a tie. All right, we're going to have them in studio with us. One moment.
Hi, I'm Shauna from Island Skin Solutions. If you're looking for an alternative to waxing and shaving, we have a solution for you. Our laser hair removal offers long-lasting, safe, and effective results. This month, we're offering 15% off of our laser hair removal packages, which are already buy 3, get 1 free. If you're interested in laser hair removal, contact us to set up your consultation today.
Got Medicaid? Paradise Dental's got you covered. We've got you covered from the moment you walk in the door with some of Saipan's best smiles. Medicaid covers your fillings, your extractions, and your checkups with no out-of-pocket expense. And Medicaid covers all of your x-rays without any additional cost to you. So remember, if you've got Medicaid, you're covered. Don't wait for a toothache. Call Paradise Dental today. Come here often.
Hi, I'm Shauna Brenfleck, nurse practitioner and owner of Island Skin Solutions and Wellness Clinic. We are Saipan's only medical spa offering a wide range of services to meet your unique skincare goals. We offer exclusive medical grade skincare products that can only be purchased from a licensed medical professional. We also have the CNMI's only master esthetician who offers new patient consultations that include a mini facial tailored to your needs. Schedule your consultation today to get started on your skincare journey.
Hope of finding survivors from the catastrophic July 4th flooding is increasingly bleak. With the death toll at more than 100 people, 4 days have now passed since anyone has been found alive in Kerr County. Jennifer King has more on the response.
Searchers comb piles of tangled tree limbs, mattresses, refrigerators, and mud, looking for victims of Friday's flash flooding in the Texas Hill Country. The disaster brought out hundreds of volunteers, like Jesus Gomez, a firefighter from Mexico who's been using his swiftwater search and rescue skills to help reach inaccessible piles in the middle of the river.
It's hard, but first responders, we're a different breed pretty much.
Jason Sabala is a volunteer with Project Grit, who's helping clear debris in Center Point.
I mean, it brought me to tears many times just thinking about, as a father, them being they're helpless, and so it's that was a big thing for me.
Takes us far to get a fire going.
At a park in Houston, people gathered to sing hymns in a memorial for Camp Mystic, the summer camp where over 24 girls and counselors died. Audio from Houston, courtesy KTRK. I'm Jennifer King.
President Trump's again voicing his displeasure with Vladimir Putin. At a cabinet meeting, Trump said Russia's war in Ukraine is killing a lot of people on both sides, and of his phone conversations with the Russian leader.
He's very nice all the time, but it turns out to be meaningless.
The Israeli military says 5 soldiers have been killed in an attack in northern Gaza. Meanwhile, health officials in the Palestinian territory say Israeli strikes killed 51 people. The bloodshed came with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu due to visit the White House again this afternoon for talks with President Trump about a ceasefire plan. On Wall Street, stocks ended mixed a day after a broad sell-off in response to President Trump's latest tariffs. The S&P slipped 0.1%. The Dow fell 165 points, or 0.4%, while the Nasdaq finished a fraction higher. This is AP News. There may be some welcome news coming for air travelers. Julie Walker has the story.
For the first time in almost 20 years, air travelers may no longer have to take their shoes off during security screenings at certain U.S. airports. The TSA is looking to abandon the requirement, according to reports. If implemented, it would put an end to a security screening mandate put in place almost 20 years ago, several years after shoe bomber Richard Reed's attempt to take down a flight from Paris to Miami in late 2001. Traveler newsletter Gate Access was first to report that the security screening change is coming. Some air travelers are able to skirt extra security requirements, like taking off their shoes if they're part of a TSA PreCheck paid program. I'm Julie Walker.
There's more news available at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
PHI is your local pharmacy serving customers in Cagman, Garapan, and Dandan since 1996. Shop PHI Pharmacy for all your prescriptions, and we even offer a large line of multivitamin supplements. Our Dandan location is open weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 4 on weekends. Or visit our Garapan and Cagman locations weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 1 on Saturdays. Check us out online at phipharmacy.com or follow us on Facebook. PHI is a locally owned independent community Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care. If you see something, say something, and stay anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 234-7272 or submit a tip online at nmicrimestoppers.com. No names, no caller ID, no recordings, just your info. And if your tip leads to an arrest, you could earn up to $1,000 in cash. Your tips have helped take hundreds of criminals off the streets in the NMI. It works because of you. Crime Stoppers, we want your information, not your name. Marianas is 7:59 a.m. here on, oh my God, is it Wednesday already? Where is this week going? Where's this month going? It's July 9th, and the mini games in Palau wrap up today. There's going to be the closing ceremony that takes place, including some of the final medal performances for the 3x3 basketball that we're going to see, the half marathon for the men and women going on today. And my goodness, it's a good thing they got baseball done, because if the weather in Palau is anything like it is here, it's going to be wild. Well, you know, we are going to have a really quicker, abbreviated interview than I really want to with these very cool guests that are here all the way from the mainland doing great stuff. And I will credit a user error to my technical woes out here. But we've got Jen McKinnon here from East Carolina University. And could you do us a favor, introduce everybody that's here with the team?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Jen McKinnon. I teach at East Carolina University, which is in North Carolina. Oh. And I'm a professor in maritime studies and do maritime archaeology. And so we brought a team out, and part of our team is Dr. Kristen Myers, who's a sociologist, also at East Carolina University, and Maddie Roth, who is a PhD student at East Carolina University. And we're out here mapping the Marianas' maritime heritage.
Now, first of all, it all sounds super cool, but what does that mean?
Well, it's a really cool opportunity for the community to come together and map what the ocean means to them. And so we know that there's a lot of maritime heritage that's out in the water. The most obvious is always the World War II when you're looking out. But the really significant sites that have not been recorded in a comprehensive way are some of the more traditional maritime heritage sites that are related to canoe building and navigation and fishing, traditional practices of collection, the stories that are associated with places that are on the water or under the water. And so we have some funding from the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management to create the biggest and first database of the entire Mariana Islands for maritime heritage, so inclusive of Guam.
That's incredible. One, I didn't really know we have a Office of Ocean Energy Management.
A Bureau of Ocean Energy Management.
Okay.
So that's in the Department of Interior, and they're sort of in charge of all energy and geological resources. So when you think of oil and gas, offshore wind energy, minerals, those are all under the jurisdiction of what we call BOEM.
Wow. And so here we are. By the way, I've heard, I'm totally going way off track here, but off the coast of Tinian, I heard there's this really cool shipwreck, like a Spanish era ship. The anchor is still easily viewable. Are you guys tracking this one too?
So we have been doing, over the last year and a half, Maddie is doing her PhD, and so she's been working in the archives all across the U.S. and in Hawaii, and so we're pulling all the data that's available, historical data from old newspapers to original captain's logs and things like that. So yes, we are tracking the historic shipwrecks as well.
You guys have the coolest job. You are like aquatic Indiana Jones is what it sounds like. And you bring the cool technology with it too. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I've got you guys hooked up to our screens because you guys are going to show off some of the stuff. And I know what time you guys are trying to get out of here by, so we'll try to move it along. But otherwise, I'd love to hear more about, more in depth about some of this. Oh, in depth? Is that a pun for your deep water stuff? But maybe tell us a little bit about some of the stuff that you're going to show off with all these maps.
Absolutely. So one of the goals of us being here is we've done survey in the past, and other folks have come to the island. Folks on island have done survey. We've got a pretty good understanding of where a lot of the World War II sites are, but the one thing that we don't have a good understanding of are the places that are so meaningful to the people of Saipan. And so we've brought out maps with us on this visit.
Nice.
And we are inviting community members who are cultural practitioners who use the ocean, use its resources, love the ocean, swim in it, dive in it, sail across it, to come out and help us identify some of those use areas. And so we've got maps from all across the Marianas. We've got, just went blank. We've got small scale maps. So I'll show one from, you can see really detailed sort of imagery from around Garapan and Tanapag. And we know people are out there, we know people dive in these areas, and so we want to ask people to come out and share any non-sensitive information. So this is data that it's okay for us to understand where these practices are occurring. The second part of this project is we want to keep that information on island. So we're working with local agencies to make sure that whatever data we collect stays here to benefit the community.
Well, that's great. So you said like things non-sensitive. Like, what would be an example of something that would be sensitive?
We don't want any information related to cultural practices that we shouldn't have any access to, because we don't need to be we know the custodians of that knowledge are here on island. We don't need to know it exists.
Like a super secret fishing spot or something?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So super secret fishing spots we don't need to know. But we do want to know, like, which is the dock that you leave from, or where's the beach that your family goes to barbecue on the weekend, because that for us helps us understand that these places are relevant, they're meaningful. And so if the federal government were ever in the future to have any sort of offshore infrastructure project, whether it's just a new cable pipeline or a communications cable between here and Tinian. That way the government knows, okay, something is happening here. They don't need to know what's happening, just that it's significant to the community.
Mm-hmm.
And so if they're going to put that telecommunications cable in, they have to know things are happening here and these are the community people that you need to talk to because they're using this area, and so you need to work with them and identify alternatives.
That's great. So like you've got all these little dots here in Tenapeg, right? And even one that's inland. That's maybe high tide. All right. And so, it looks like Managaha's out there as well. So you've got a lot of these different points out there, and they all mean something different, right?
Yes, and so right now, these are just the existing navigational markers. The one that's inland is the old Japanese lighthouse.
Mm-hmm.
That's just to help people sort of orient themselves. But we've basically got a couple of depths on here. We've got some of the bathymetric imagery to show where some of those pinnacles and reefs are. But we removed a lot of data on purpose because we know everybody interacts with the ocean differently. And so we really brought out a bunch of markers and are asking people, mark up these maps. Tell us what you love. Tell us where you like to fish or where you like to go to the beach. And so the mapping workshops all invite people to come around the table. We've got all sorts of sticky notes and markers and to mark these maps up. And any information that the community thinks is relevant to help us share that really message of love and love of the ocean is what we want to bring forward.
Well, that makes sense. And so one of these workshops is taking place in today in about 20 minutes. And hopefully it'll dry up a little bit for you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got a workshop that is for the Seafaring Traditions program. So we're meeting with them at the Canoe House. But a couple opportunities are open to the public, and that's going to be tomorrow at the Humanities Council offices from 9 to 11. We're asking folks to come out. A lot of the flyers and things are on social media and can be found in the latest press releases. So you can sign up and come from 9 to 11. The workshop runs. You don't need to have any experience with mapping we bring all the materials, and it's just a really fun way of sitting down and recording what's important in the ocean. We did one yesterday with 500 sails, and we're told that we didn't have enough time because there were so many things that they wanted to record. And so tomorrow, 9 to 11 at Humanities Council, and then we're also going to be on Sunday from 3 to 7. We have a table set up at the fishing tournament. So we'll be out there all day so people can come by, look at the maps, sit down, map some things that are important to them, and we'll record that. So
you're going to get the fishermen giving you some random X somewhere else, say, hey, the best fishing is there, to set everybody else to go fish over there instead of their spots.
Oh, look, I'm a fisherwoman as well, and I know exactly what that means. So, but yeah, I mean, I think the point is we don't want to know where your like specific sites are, but if there's like a bank, and we know that that's really important for fishing, that's where circle the whole bank, right? And let us know that you have been fishing that, your family has been fishing that, and all the way through time. And so we're looking for like historical and current practices. So if things have shifted, also we're interested in knowing that because we understand that the oceans are changing now too.
Yeah, so you're doing the whole Marianas, so you're doing the islands north of us as well?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we are going to Tinian on next Tuesday, which will be great, and then we're going to Rhoda the following week. And so, and we have invited, mayors from the Northern Islands as well to try and capture as many people as possible because we want to make sure that, Ghani is an important area, all the islands to the north. We want to make sure that we understand how long people have been traveling to those areas and what resources are up there and sites are significant to them.
Well, I know that one place where people aren't supposed to fish, they definitely fish because the fishing's really good over at FDM. And it was so funny. So we did the about let me think, how many years ago was it now? 2020, 5 years ago. We had this big FDM summit where we were talking about everything, and some of the fishermen were surprised to know they couldn't be within X amount of miles of that area. They're like, I fish there. They're like, well, don't tell us. But there's some things that probably don't hit the target. It's not the safest place to be, right? But people are doing that too. So but it sounds like what you're doing, there's a mixture of, the actual underwater mapping and all that other stuff, but this is making sure that we can kind of cast a net that covers everything. All the other things that maybe somebody who's focused on data readouts and sonar, they wouldn't pick this stuff up. They wouldn't know that this is a significant practice.
Yeah, absolutely. It's more inclusive. It's and really covers a long time period. Before Europeans were coming here. So.
Well, this is great. So you're a doctoral student now, and so tell us about how you got into this. And one other thing. Yeah. How did ECU become the hotspot? We've got I only know about it through all the work you guys do out here, but then all of a sudden I'm hearing about the pirates, and it makes sense that they are the nautical mascots for the school. But how did ECU become that school, and how did you get into this program?
Take it away.
I was like, well, all right. I came to ECU to work with Jen because she had this amazing reputation for doing really meaningful work and bringing awesome people together and doing fantastic archaeology. And I was like, I want to be part of that. So I came to ECU. I did my master's with Jen. I left. I graduated. I got a job. I worked actually for NOAA. And this was a question that kept coming up at NOAA was we were really good at mapping shipwrecks and really bad at identifying where people wanted to be on the ocean. And so it was something that just kept coming back, and Jen reached out and she said, I have this amazing opportunity to go back and work again on Saipan with my friends and my extended family there. Would you like to come? And how can you say no to that? So I came back, and it's been an honor and a privilege to work here and to meet such amazing cultural practitioners and really experts who know so much and love the ocean so much. Yeah. And it's an honor just to even be able to sometimes be in the room with them.
Yeah, I would like to say I want to shout out to the folks who are helping us on island set all of this up because it would not happen without them. So we've been working with Gordon Marciano, Genevieve Cabrera, Catherine, Kat, who was running her humanities shows.
Yeah, Catherine
Perry, and Lolly Villagomez. And so they have really been the backbone of all of the logistics and getting people at the table because this project is going to be only as good as the people who come to the table and share their knowledge. And so, those are really truly the people who are helping us get this together. And I just want to thank them and give them solid shout outs. And then we have Kristen Myers, who has great experience with doing these focus group type things. And so together as a team, it's interdisciplinary, it's offshore, onshore. And I do want to reiterate that, like Maddie said, this data is going to stay with the community. We're not coming in to gather data and take it away and study it. This is for the community. And so we're working with agencies to see that we can leave this database on island.
That's great. So one of the big things that we always had with the military, I was a DoD civilian for a little while, and a lot of the thirst for raw data here that we can use locally. Are we only providing the finished product? I know that's usually how the military would finish. They give you the finished product after it's done. But is it raw data? Is it finished product stuff?
So it is going to be finished products, but we are separating out anything that the community is going to have the opportunity to say what goes into that final database,
Great.
right? So that's one of the important parts of this is they're going to review everything that we've collected and say, this is what we want to go into the report. Or, you know, we're okay with that, but we want to draw the circle bigger because we don't want to necessarily give certain information. So anybody who participates is going to have an opportunity to review that data when we come back in another meeting and set of workshops where we define also the best practices for the federal government to engage the community. And that's the final part of this project is we want to make sure, and we are creating a best practices document with the community that says, and you know, what does the table look like? Where is the table at? Who sits at the table? How does the federal government need to engage with them if and when some kind of energy-related project comes to the CNMI or Guam?
It seems to be the big conversation right now because I could see the people who are in the environmental world more of the conservation side than the extraction side are starting to they're starting to get together to say, hey, we should have a voice in this. And it sounds like this is one of the tools that's going to enable folks to have that kind of a voice.
Yep,
Sounds
absolutely.
Great.
Cool.
Well, you're normally talking about the ocean. Right now, the ocean is meeting the air all over the place in the form of raindrops. And you guys have this workshop today. So it's right down the street. People want to go there today. It's over at the Canoe House. Is that Guma Sakman? Are you guys going to be in there?
Yep.
Okay, over there for 500 sales. And
oh no, sorry, we're at the Canoe House next to it.
where they're building the canoes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay. Great. So you guys can go and can people go to this?
Well, it's for that group
one?
Specifically, but we do
Okay.
have the one tomorrow, which is open, and then also the fishing one. So
tomorrow, 9 to 11 at Humanities.
Yeah. Yep, and then 3
Fishing
to
bays?
7 all day on Sunday at the fishing festival.
Where you can enjoy that cultural practice 12 ounces at a time over at the fishing tournament. This has been great. I'm so glad that we got you guys in here. I'm sorry that we had to get you short, but you said you're going to be doing future meetings. When do you have that date set, or do you?
We don't have the date set, but while we're here, we're working that out, and so we'll get those out soon because we'll be meeting with all the same groups that we met with before. So
Terrific. Well, hopefully we'll be able to spend more time with you then. This is such a worthwhile project, like you mentioned, and I'm so thankful that you guys were able to get in here before you get over there.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to keep you any later. I would love to, but I can't. So
thank you, Brad. It's been awesome.
Thanks for sharing with us today. And folks, we're going to take a real quick commercial break. We come back, we'll have more. We'll talk about our local headlines. We'll talk about what happened over at the mini games yesterday and more. We'll see you right after this.
Hi, I'm Shauna from Island Skin Solutions. If you're looking for an alternative to waxing and shaving, we have a solution for you. Our laser hair removal offers long-lasting, safe, and effective results. This month, we're offering 15% off of our laser hair removal packages, which are already buy 3, get 1 free. If you're interested in laser hair removal, contact us to set up your consultation today.
Got Medicaid? Paradise Dental's got you covered. We've got you covered from the moment you walk in the door with some of Saipan's best smiles. Medicaid covers your fillings, your extractions, and your checkups with no out-of-pocket expense. And Medicaid covers all of your x-rays without any additional cost to you. So remember, if you've got Medicaid, you're covered. Don't wait for a toothache. Call Paradise Dental today. Come here often.
Hi, I'm Shauna Brenfleck, nurse practitioner and owner of Island Skin Solutions and Wellness Clinic. We are Saipan's only medical spa offering a wide range of services to meet your unique skincare goals. We offer exclusive medical-grade skincare products that can only be purchased from a licensed medical professional. We also have the CNMI's only master esthetician, who offers new patient consultations that include a mini facial tailored to your needs. Schedule your consultation today to get started on your skincare journey.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. The flood death toll in the Texas Hill Country is already at more than 100 people. Governor Greg Abbott provides this update.
Just in the Kerr County area alone, there are 161 people who are known to be missing.
He adds,
we will not stop until every missing person is accounted for. Know this also, there very likely could be more added to that list.
In other news, the Supreme Court's cleared the way for President Trump's plans to downsize the federal workforce. Hai Panchwani has details.
Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson was the only dissenting vote. She warned her colleagues of enormous real-world consequences. Some of the agencies affected by the order are the Departments of Agriculture, Energy, Labor, the Interior, State, Treasury, and Veteran Affairs. It also applies to the National Science Foundation, Small Business Association, Social Security Administration, and Environmental Protection Agency. Hai Panchwani, Washington.
The State Department's warning U.S. diplomats of attempts to impersonate Secretary of State Marco Rubio and possibly other officials using AI-driven technology after an imposter tried to contact at least 3 foreign ministers, a U.S. senator, and a governor. And Julie Walker reports 10 people have been arrested for attempted murder after a shooting outside a Texas immigration detention center Friday.
Acting U.S. Attorney Nancy Larson says the group, dressed in black military-style clothing, staged what she calls a planned ambush. A local police official was shot in the neck and is recovering. Larson says the group used fireworks to lure ICE personnel outside the center in Alvarado, where they opened fire. Weapons, body armor, and anti-ICE materials were found at the scene. Some suspects were arrested nearby. They were armed and wearing tactical gear. I'm Julie Walker.
This is AP News. Seth Sutel has the AP Markets Report.
Stocks ended mixed on Wall Street as the White House kept up its pressure campaign against the U.S. trading partners. The S&P 500 slipped 0.1% Tuesday. The index posted its biggest loss since mid-June, a day earlier. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 165 points. It's about 0.4%. The Nasdaq Composite eked out a small gain. The price of copper jumped 13% after President Donald Trump said he would impose hefty tariffs on imports of the metal. Shares in Freeport-McMoRan, which mines copper, rose 2.5%. Treasury yields mostly rose in the bond market. Seth Sutel, New York.
And city workers remain on strike in Philadelphia for an 8th day. The mayor standing firm on her offer of 3% annual raises over a 3-year contract. Residents and business owners have started hiring pop-up hauling services to clear garbage. More news available at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
PHI is your local pharmacy serving customers in Cagman, Garapan, and Dandan since 1996. Shop PHI Pharmacy for all your prescriptions, and we even offer a large line of multivitamin supplements. Our Dandan location is open weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 4 on weekends. Or visit our Garapan and Cagman locations weekdays from 8 to 6 and 8 to 1 on Saturdays. Check us out online at phipharmacy.com or follow us on Facebook. PHI is a locally owned independent community Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care. If you see something, say something, and stay anonymous. Call Crime Stoppers at 234-7272 or submit a tip online at nmicrimestoppers.com. No names, no caller ID, no recordings, just your info. And if your tip leads to an arrest, you could earn up to $1,000 in cash. Your tips have helped take hundreds of criminals off the streets in the NMI. It works because of you. Crime Stoppers, we want your information, not your name.
Marianas! It's the wettest Wednesday ever! Woo!
Oh my goodness, that hit a little bit harder than I thought this morning. Great to see you guys. What a different broadcast today. Started off with a little bit of technical difficulties. Oh man, I was joking with them off camera saying, I used to do triathlon stuff, and one of the things that I learned was that you don't try anything new on race day. Well, before we got Troy on, while he was in studio, I got the thing saying, hey, there's an OBS update. You want to do it? I'm like, all right, let's do it. And after that, I could not connect to Facebook. I could see it, and I could be on it and everything, but I could not connect my OBS software to the to Facebook this morning. That's why we're on YouTube today, only on YouTube. So we'll work on it, and we'll make it all great again. When we were trying to do it before these other guys got in, I was just not having any luck. So I want to look at it a little bit more and find out just what in tarnation happened with all that stuff. Anyway, it's 76 degrees outside right now. Believe it or not, that temperature actually dropped since we got on here. Humidity's at 97%, and that's because most of the water is in the sky right now. We're looking at showers and possibly thunderstorms this morning, and then scattered showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon. Mostly cloudy today, though. High near 86. Winds out of the south-southeast, 8 to 10 miles per hour. 60% chance of rain. Well, look outside. It raining. Tonight, it's going to cool down a little bit, too, all the way down to 78, and which would actually be warmer than it is right now. And then we're going to have a 30% chance of rain. So pretty much it's going to rain today. It's going to rain tonight. And tomorrow, though, believe it or not, tomorrow we're expected to have mostly sunny skies with a high near 87. So things going to turn around quite a bit, and we're happy for that. I'm looking forward to a nicer day than today. I do like the rain. I'm not complaining, but it's pretty wet out there right now. It is. Anyhow, that's what we got there. We got to catch up with all the other stuff that's happening. We talked about what's going on with PSS. We talked about that yesterday. And, I'm seeing all these other things that popped up. And I want to talk about the updates on the Pacific mini games, because we got confirmation this morning. It was the finals for the 3v3s, well, 3x3s is what they're calling them. And then also today was the half marathon for the men and the half marathon for the women. We have good news, CNMI. Yes, we have great news, because Tanya Tan won the half marathon with a time of 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 40 seconds. Tanya Tan winning this morning the gold medal in the half marathon. She had such a great race. She beat the new Cal runner by 4 minutes. Okay, it was like 3 minutes and 29 seconds or 31 seconds, but you know what I mean. And even, but I'll tell you what though, the Solomons runner was only 18 seconds behind the second place runner too. And after that, it fell off a little bit, but holy cow, Tanya Tan, gold medal again. She's not Tanya Tan, she's Tanya Gold is what it is. And holy smokes, did she have a great race. On the men's side, how did we do? Well, we didn't have anybody who was in there. But Guam had a couple of runners who did really well. Listen to this time. It's freaking ridiculous. This is the time of the gold medal winner for the men's half marathon. And I mean it. This is a half marathon. That's 13.1 miles. Gold medalist, Yeshnil Karen, not that kind of Karen, from Fiji. 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 58 seconds. Holy freaking crap. Can you run a 10K in that much time? Because I feel like the answer is no. 1 hour and 14 minutes and 58 seconds for a half freaking marathon. Yeah, that happened today. And that's what it takes to win gold right now. Oh my God, just incredible. Anyway, that's super impressive. And my goodness, the top three had time. So silver was 1:15:23, bronze was 1:15:31. That's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. Some of the fastest runners in the world happening right here. I mean, the slowest, and it's not slow, the slowest half marathon time was 1 hour, 30 minutes, and 29 seconds. And the second slowest, 1:23:41. This is the top of the top, guys. I mean, holy crap. Really? Just amazing and impressive, and how, man, my goodness, just incredible. Well done. And that's it. So now here's the other thing we got going on. We've got the 3x3 basketball going on. Oh, they sent me a fancy version of it right here. So I'm going to start here. CNMI time, tomorrow Standard Time, is going to be 11:30. Fiji against the NMI. If they advance, if they win that game, they're going to move on to the gold medal match. If they lose, they go on to the bronze medal match. So they're going to play Fiji, and Fiji is good. On the other part of that bracket, you got there's a couple of teams. So you got the PNG is going to take on Tonga. Then another Fiji team is going to take on Tonga, and then Palau is going to be taking on Solomons. It's going to be something. These are the ladies, and they are going to be going for it all. It's exciting, guys. The finals. I was talking to the chef de mission. I'm like, I don't understand how they get to the medals, but now we know. It's all these point systems that they've had throughout the whole process, and here they go. So Tanya Tan winning gold in the half marathon, and we got our ladies going to be out there competing for the gold. They're not going for the gold yet, but they're going to find out how their seeding is going to be. So if they win, they're in the gold medal match. If they lose, they're in the bronze medal match. But either way, it's going to be happening today because that's it. That's where we are. Today is the last day for the mini games, and I'm looking for the closing ceremony calendar. Pal, hold on, because today's the day. Excuse me, I know how to find it. The other thing is, by the way, this website is fantastic. The other thing that's happening is they said that the closing ceremony will not be as long as the opening ceremony, so that's good. Especially if it's raining, but it looked like it was a rainy day over there as well. Okay, where is it? The YouTube channel. There we go. We're going to go over there because I just want to see the schedule. Pow. Get out of here, bug. The schedule for the closing ceremony coverage. That's going to be coming up tonight at 8 p.m. So 8 p.m. Tomorrow Standard Time, we're going to have that for you too. We will be bringing that to you. Just like we brought you the opening, we're going to be bringing you the closing. And it's going to be fantastic. So thank you guys so much for joining us for all this stuff. It's been a real pleasure and honor more than anything to be in this business while all this stuff is happening. It really is great. To be in this part of the world and to experience all this stuff firsthand, to have anything to do with it at all is just pretty awesome. And that we're able to knock it out from here, it's pretty dope. I mean, that's it. It is pretty dope. All right. Is there anything else that we absolutely want to cover? Let me just go through, because all this stuff is stuff that all the headlines are things that we had already posted yesterday. So you can check them out on the NMI News Service Facebook page, even though we're not broadcasting it right now. Ah, man. And we're getting closer and closer and closer to having the website done. It's not there yet. You can see it in pieces, but it's getting there, and I'll be very excited about it once it all comes together. Anyway, guys, that's what we're going to do. We're going to wrap it up today because I need to figure out why we couldn't get this thing connected. And by the way, I'm going to have to change that sidebar that's going on over there on the right side of the screen that you're looking at, because the mini game is going to be over after today. It certainly has been great. And we have brought you a whole bunch of stuff live, and we'll bring you this stuff live too. Holy cow. That's it. I can't believe it. What a ride it's been. All right, guys, we'll be back for the closing ceremonies. And if we're able to bring in, maybe we'll do a little play-by-play for the ladies when they get into the medal round here from 3v3. That's later this afternoon. But right now, congratulations, big time, Tanya Tan on getting the gold medal. She crushed in the 10,000, crushed in the 5,000, and she just won gold. Tanya, tan is not your color anymore. It's gold. It's Tanya Gold. We just well done. All right. That's going to do it for today, guys. That is it. And so you guys have a great one, and we will see you later. We're going to keep knocking out the news and sports coverage today, and we'll be back again tomorrow. Take care.
Hi, I'm Shauna from Island Skin Solutions. If you're looking for an alternative to waxing and shaving, we have a solution for you. Our laser hair removal offers long-lasting, safe, and effective results. This month, we're offering 15% off of our laser hair removal packages, which are already buy 3, get 1 free. If you're interested in laser hair removal, contact us to set up your consultation today.
Got Medicaid? Paradise Dental's got you covered. We've got you covered from the moment you walk in the door with some of Saipan's best smiles. Medicaid covers your fillings, your extractions, and your checkups with no out-of-pocket expense. And Medicaid covers all of your x-rays without any additional cost to you. So remember, if you've got Medicaid, you're covered. Don't wait for a toothache. Call Paradise Dental today. Come here often.
Hi, I'm Shauna Brenfleck, nurse practitioner and owner of Island Skin Solutions and Wellness Clinic. We are Saipan's only medical spa offering a wide range of services to meet your unique skincare goals. We offer exclusive medical grade skincare products that can only be purchased from a licensed medical professional. We also have the CNMI's only master esthetician who offers new patient consultations that include a mini facial tailored to your needs. Schedule your consultation